Listen carefully. Most people think their biggest enemy is out there somewhere. A difficult boss, a difficult situation, a difficult economy, a difficult past. But they are wrong. Your biggest enemy wakes up with you every morning. It speaks with your voice. It lives inside your mind. It tells you to wait. It tells you to quit. It tells you to stay comfortable. It tells you there is always tomorrow, and if you listen to it long enough, years disappear. Dreams disappear. Potential disappears. The life you could have lived disappears. Right now, while you are listening to this, thousands of people are wasting another day. They are waiting for motivation, waiting for confidence, waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for life to become easier. But life does not reward those who wait. Life rewards those who act. The harsh truth is that your future will not be decided by your intentions. It will be decided by your habits. Not what you want to do, not what you plan to do, what you repeatedly do. Every day you are building something. You are either building strength or weakness, discipline or laziness, focus or distraction, growth or regret. There is no standing still. You are always moving in one direction or the other. And that is why self-discipline matters so much. Because discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could become. Without discipline, potential means nothing. Talent means nothing. Dreams mean nothing. Goals mean nothing. You can have the biggest vision in the world. But if you cannot control yourself, none of it matters. The ancient Stoics understood this better than most people do today. They knew that the greatest victory is not conquering another person. It is conquering yourself. Think about that. You can win arguments and still lose control of your life. You can gain status and still be controlled by your impulses. You can achieve success and still be a slave to your emotions. Real power begins when you learn to govern your own mind, because your thoughts create your actions. Your actions create your habits. Your habits create your character. And your character creates your destiny. Everything starts in the mind, yet most people never learn how to manage it. They allow every thought to control them. Every fear, every doubt, every insecurity, every negative emotion. The moment a difficult thought appears, they believe it. The moment a painful emotion appears, they obey it. The moment discomfort arrives, they run from it. And as a result, they remain trapped. Not trapped by circumstances, trapped by themselves. Look at your own life. How many times have you known exactly what needed to be done? You knew you needed to wake up earlier. You knew you needed to stop procrastinating. You knew you needed to exercise. You knew you needed to study. You knew you needed to focus. You knew what had to happen. But knowing was not enough, because knowledge is useless without action. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people spend their entire lives. They know, but they don't act. They understand, but they don't move. They want change, but they stay the same. And every year they wonder why nothing improves. The answer is simple. You do not become what you know. You become what you practice. The Stoics practiced discipline every day. Not when they felt motivated. Not when conditions were perfect. Every day. They understood a truth that many people refuse to accept. Your feelings cannot always be trusted. If you wait until you feel like working, you will rarely work. If you wait until you feel like exercising, you will rarely exercise. If you wait until you feel ready, you may never begin. Feelings change constantly. 1 hour you feel confident. The next hour you feel doubtful. One day you feel strong. The next day you feel weak. If your actions depend on your emotions, your life becomes unstable. This is why discipline is superior to motivation is temporary. Discipline is dependable. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains. Motivation asks how you feel. Discipline asks what needs to be done. And that difference changes everything. Imagine two people. The first person only works when they feel inspired. The second person works whether they feel inspired or not. 5 years later, who do you think has transformed their life? The answer is obvious. The disciplined person always has an advantage. Not because they are smarter, not because they are more talented, because they are consistent. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in the world. A single workout changes very little. Hundreds of workouts change everything. A single day of focus changes very little. Years of focus create mastery. A single disciplined decision may seem insignificant. Thousands of disciplined decisions create a completely different life. Yet most people underestimate small actions. They want dramatic changes, massive breakthroughs, instant success. But lasting transformation rarely happens that way. It happens quietly, gradually. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. The person you become tomorrow is being built today, right now, through the choices you make, the thoughts you entertain, the actions you repeat. This is why controlling your thoughts matters so much. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every thought deserves your belief. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts every day. Some are useful, many are not. The problem is that most people never question them. A negative thought appears and they immediately accept it. A fearful thought appears and they immediately obey it. A doubtful thought appears and they immediately surrender. The Stoics refused to do that. They examined their thoughts carefully. They asked questions. Is this thought true? Is this thought useful? Is this thought helping me, or is it hurting me? That simple habit creates enormous power. Because when you stop believing every thought, you begin taking control of your mind. And when you control your mind, you control your life. Think about how many opportunities fear has stolen from people. How many dreams have died because of doubt? How many goals have been abandoned because someone listened to the wrong voice inside their head? Fear is often louder than truth. Doubt is often louder than possibility. Excuses are often louder than purpose. But louder does not mean stronger. You must learn to separate noise from truth. You must learn to observe your thoughts without becoming their servant. The moment you master that skill, everything changes. Because your mind stops controlling you. You begin controlling your mind. And that is where real freedom begins. Most people think freedom means doing whatever they want. The Stoics believed something different. They believed freedom comes from self-control. Because what kind of freedom is it if your impulses control you? What kind of freedom is it if distractions control you? What kind of freedom is it if emotions control you? Real freedom is the ability to choose your response, to choose your actions, to choose your focus, to choose your path regardless of circumstances. That kind of freedom is earned, and it is earned through discipline. Every time you resist distraction, you become stronger. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become stronger. Every time you choose long-term growth over short-term comfort, you become stronger. Little by little, day after day, you build a mind that cannot be easily shaken. A mind that remains focused when others become distracted. A mind that remains calm when others become emotional. A mind that remains committed when others quit. And that mind becomes your greatest asset. Because life will test you. There will be difficult days. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when you want to stop. Days when you wonder if the effort is worth it. Those days will come. They come for everyone. The question is not whether they will arrive. The question is who you will be when they do. Will you be the person who gives in, or the person who continues? Will you be the person controlled by emotions, or the person guided by principles? Will you be the person who talks about change, or the person who becomes change? Every day you answer those questions through your actions, not your words, your actions. And your actions are creating your future right now. Your actions reveal a truth that words can never hide. You can talk about discipline. You can talk about success. You can talk about changing your life. But at the end of the day, your habits tell the real story. Your habits reveal what you truly value, not what you say you value, what you actually value. This is why self-discipline is so powerful. It removes the gap between intention and reality. It turns ideas into action. It turns goals into habits. It turns potential into results. And yet most people spend their lives fighting the wrong battle. They try to change their circumstances before changing themselves. They try to change their results before changing their habits. They try to change their future before changing their daily actions. The Stoics understood that lasting change always starts within. Always. The outside world reflects what is happening inside you. A distracted mind creates a distracted life. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. A fearful mind creates a fearful life. A courageous mind creates a courageous life. Everything begins internally before it appears externally. This is why controlling your emotions is just as important as controlling your actions. Many people are not defeated by obstacles. They are defeated by their emotional reactions to obstacles. A setback happens. They become discouraged. A criticism appears. They become angry. A failure occurs. They become hopeless. An unexpected challenge arrives. They lose focus. And without realizing it, they allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. The Stoics refused to live that way. They understood something that can completely change your life. You are not your emotions. You experience emotions, but you are not them. You experience fear, but you are not fear. You experience anger, but you are not anger. You experience doubt, but you are not doubt. These emotions pass through you like weather passing through the sky. The problem begins when you mistake temporary feelings for permanent truth. A difficult day convinces you that you are failing. A moment of fear convinces you that you cannot succeed. A setback convinces you that you should quit. But emotions are often poor judges of reality. A tired mind sees problems everywhere. A frustrated mind exaggerates obstacles. A fearful mind imagines disasters that never happen. This is why self-control matters. It allows you to pause, to observe, to think clearly before acting. Most regrets are created by impulsive decisions, words spoken in anger, opportunities abandoned in fear, goals surrendered because of temporary discomfort. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped reacting immediately. Imagine if every challenge was met with calm, every setback was met with patience, every obstacle was met with determination. That is the power of emotional discipline. It keeps you steady while others become unstable. It keeps you focused while others become distracted. It keeps you moving while others stop. And movement is everything, because progress belongs to those who keep moving, not those who keep waiting. One of the greatest lies ever told is that you need to feel ready before you begin. You do not. The truth is that action creates readiness. Action creates confidence. Action creates clarity. Think about every skill you have ever developed. At the beginning, you were uncertain. At the beginning, you were inexperienced. At the beginning, you were uncomfortable. But you acted anyway, and through repetition you improved. This is how growth works, not through certainty, through action despite uncertainty. The person who waits for confidence remains stuck. The person who acts despite fear grows stronger every single time. Fear loses power when confronted. Doubt loses power when challenged. Weakness loses power when trained. That is why discipline often feels uncomfortable, because discipline forces you to move toward resistance, toward effort, toward challenge, toward growth, and your mind will often resist. Your mind prefers comfort. It prefers familiar patterns. It prefers immediate rewards. But comfort has a hidden cost, a very expensive cost. Comfort today often becomes regret tomorrow. Every time you avoid necessary discomfort, you delay your growth, you delay your progress, you delay the life you want. The tragedy is that many people never realize this. They spend years protecting themselves from discomfort, only to discover they have also protected themselves from greatness. Because greatness requires effort. Greatness requires sacrifice. Greatness requires patience. There is no other way. The strongest people you admire were not born stronger. They became stronger. Through repetition, through struggle, through consistency, through discipline. Every challenge they faced became training. Every obstacle became preparation. Every setback became a lesson. And that is exactly how you must begin seeing your own life, not as a series of problems, as a series of opportunities to develop yourself. A difficult situation tests your patience. A failure tests your resilience. A setback tests your commitment. A criticism tests your emotional control. Life is constantly training you. The question is whether you are paying attention. Because every challenge contains a lesson. Every obstacle contains an opportunity. Every difficulty contains growth, if you are willing to look for it. Most people spend so much time asking why something happened that they never ask what it can teach them. That shift changes everything. The victim asks, why me? The disciplined person asks, what now? The victim focuses on blame. The disciplined person focuses on action. The victim waits for circumstances to improve. The disciplined person improves themselves. One mindset creates weakness. The other creates power. And power always begins with responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden. It is freedom. The moment you take responsibility for your life, you reclaim control. You stop waiting for luck. You stop waiting for approval. You stop waiting for rescue. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin acting. And action changes everything. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you started taking responsibility today. Not tomorrow. Today. Imagine if you stopped making excuses. Imagine if you stopped negotiating with your goals. Imagine if you stopped abandoning commitments the moment they became difficult. How different would your life look? How different would you feel? How much stronger would you become? The answer should excite you, because that future is available, not to the most talented person, not to the luckiest person, to the most consistent person. Consistency beats intensity. A burst of motivation may last a day. A disciplined habit can last a lifetime. Many people work hard for a week, then quit. Others work steadily for years. Guess who transforms? The person who stays. The person who continues. The person who refuses to stop. Transformation is not about doing something extraordinary once. It is about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, repeatedly, day after day, without needing applause, without needing attention, without needing recognition. This is where true self-mastery begins. When you stop performing for others. When you stop seeking validation. When you stop caring who notices. and start caring about who you are becoming. That is a powerful shift, because now your motivation becomes internal. You no longer exercise so others admire you. You exercise because discipline matters. You no longer work hard so others praise you. You work hard because excellence matters. You no longer pursue growth so others approve of you. You pursue growth because becoming better matters. This mindset is liberating, because external validation is unstable. People change their opinions constantly. One day they support you, the next day they criticize you. One day they praise you, the next day they ignore you. If your confidence depends on others, your confidence will always be fragile. The Stoics refused to build their identity on something so unstable. They built it on character. Character does not depend on popularity. Character does not depend on status. Character does not depend on applause. Character depends on what you do when nobody is watching. That is why private victories matter so much. The workout nobody sees. The study session nobody notices. The disciplined choice nobody applauds. The temptation you resist in silence. Those moments build you. Those moments create identity. Those moments shape your future. And eventually, after enough private victories, public results begin to appear. People see the confidence. They see the discipline. They see the strength. They see the success. But they never see the years of preparation, the years of consistency, the years of sacrifice, the years of effort. You see them, and that is enough, because the greatest reward was never the outcome. The greatest reward was who you became along the way. Every day of discipline changes you. Every day of focus changes you. Every day of self-control changes you. Little by little, step by step, until one day you realize something incredible. You are no longer fighting the same battles. The distractions that once controlled you have lost their grip. The fears that once stopped you have lost their power. The habits that once weakened you have been replaced. You have become stronger, not because life became easier, because you became better. And that is what Stoicism teaches at its core. Do not demand an easier life. Become a stronger person. Do not wish for fewer obstacles. Develop greater resilience. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Master yourself under imperfect conditions. That is the path. That is the challenge. And that is where real transformation begins. Because the moment you stop trying to control the world and start controlling yourself, your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. There is a version of you that already exists in your mind. A version that wakes up on time. A version that keeps promises. A version that finishes what they start. A version that is focused, disciplined, strong, calm, confident. You have seen that version before, maybe only for a moment. Maybe during one of your best days. Maybe during a period when you were fully committed. Maybe when you pushed through discomfort and surprised yourself. You know that person is real, because you have felt glimpses of them. The problem is not that you cannot become that person. The problem is that most days you keep returning to old patterns, old habits, old excuses, old ways of thinking. And every time you return to them, you strengthen them. This is why identity matters so much. Most people focus only on outcomes. They focus on losing weight, making money, building a business, learning a skill, improving their life. Those goals are important. But they are not the deepest level of change. The deepest level is identity, because every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. Every time you procrastinate, you vote for that identity. Every time you keep a promise, you vote for a different identity. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce one version of yourself. Every time you embrace discomfort, you reinforce another. The person you become is not created by one decision. It is created by thousands of small votes, day after day, week after week, month after month. The danger is that many people are unaware of the votes they cast. They say they want discipline, but they repeatedly vote for comfort. They say they want confidence, but they repeatedly vote for avoidance. They say they want success, but they repeatedly vote for distraction. Eventually, reality reflects those votes, and they wonder why life is not changing. The answer is always found in daily behavior, not occasional effort. Daily behavior. This is why the Stoics placed such importance on self-observation. They constantly examined themselves. They questioned their actions. They reflected on their choices, not to criticize themselves, to improve themselves. Imagine ending each day with one simple question. Did I act like the person I want to become? Not perfectly, just honestly. Did you move closer to your future or further away? Did you strengthen your discipline or weaken it? Did you control your mind or allow it to control you? Most people avoid these questions because they are uncomfortable. But discomfort is often where growth begins. The truth may hurt for a moment, but it can change your life forever. Lies feel comfortable. Truth creates transformation. And transformation requires honesty, brutal honesty, not about the world, about yourself. You know where you are wasting time. You know where you are making excuses. You know where you are settling. You know where fear is holding you back. You know where comfort is stealing your potential. You already know. The question is whether you are willing to act on what you know, because awareness without action changes nothing. You can read every book, watch every video,
listen to every podcast, learn every strategy. But if action never follows, your life remains the same. Knowledge is only powerful when it becomes behavior. This is where many people fail.
They become addicted to learning, addicted to planning, addicted to preparing. But they never execute, they never move, they never begin. The Stoics valued wisdom, but they valued action even more.
Because wisdom that is never applied is wasted. A map is useless if you never start walking. A plan is useless if you never begin. A goal is useless if you never act. Your future is waiting for execution. Not more excuses, not more preparation, execution. Right now, somewhere in the world, there is someone less talented than you succeeding because they are taking action. There is someone with fewer resources succeeding because they are taking action. There is someone with more obstacles succeeding because they are taking action. Action creates opportunities. Action creates momentum. Action creates confidence. The people who transform their lives are not always the smartest. Often they are simply the most consistent, the most persistent, the most willing to continue when things become difficult. And difficulty will come. That is guaranteed. There will be days when your motivation disappears. Days when your progress feels invisible. Days when your energy feels low. Days when you question everything. Those days are not signs to stop. They are tests. Tests of commitment. Tests of discipline. Tests of identity. Anyone can stay focused when they feel motivated. Can you stay focused when you do not? Anyone can remain committed when results are visible. Can you remain committed when they are not? Anyone can work hard when life is easy. Can you work hard when life becomes difficult? That is where self-discipline separates people. Not during easy moments. During difficult moments. The person who wins is often the person who simply refuses to quit. Not the fastest, not the most gifted, not the luckiest, the most persistent. Persistence is powerful because time magnifies it. A disciplined day seems small. A disciplined year changes everything. A focused hour seems small. A focused decade creates mastery. A single workout seems small. Thousands of workouts create strength. People underestimate what they can become because they underestimate the power of consistency. They expect immediate transformation, but real transformation is gradual. So gradual that sometimes you do not notice it until one day you look back and realize everything has changed. Your mindset has changed. Your habits have changed. Your standards have changed. Your confidence has changed. Your identity has changed. And most importantly, your future has changed. This is the reward of discipline, not just results. Transformation, the ability to become someone new, the ability to leave old versions of yourself behind, the ability to create a life that once seemed impossible. But it starts with one decision, a decision many people avoid, the decision to take full responsibility. No more blaming circumstances, no more blaming other people, no more blaming the past, no more blaming bad luck. Responsibility is where power begins, because the moment you accept responsibility, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you stop wishing, and you start building. You become the creator of your future instead of a spectator. And that changes everything, because life responds differently to builders. Life rewards those who act. Life rewards those who persist. Life rewards those who remain disciplined long after excitement fades. That is the opportunity in front of you. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Today. Right now. A chance to become stronger. A chance to become more focused. A chance to become more disciplined. A chance to become someone your future self will thank you for becoming. The choice is yours. It always has been. And every decision you make from this moment forward is shaping the answer. The truth is that your life will not change because you watched another video. It will not change because you felt inspired for an hour. It will not change because you agreed with powerful words. Your life changes when your behavior changes. That is where everything begins. Not in your intentions, not in your plans, not in your dreams, in your actions. The world is full of people who intend to become better, but intention alone has never transformed a life. Action has. The Stoics understood this deeply. They did not spend their lives talking about virtue. They practiced it. They did not spend their lives talking about courage. They displayed it. They did not spend their lives talking about discipline. They lived it. That is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing. Wisdom is doing. And your future belongs to what you do. Every morning you are given a choice. Not a dramatic choice. A quiet one. A simple one. Will you obey your goals, or will you obey your excuses?
That choice appears again and again throughout the day. When the alarm rings, when the work becomes difficult, when the distraction appears, when the temptation arrives, when the discomfort begins.
Each moment asks the same question. Who are you becoming? Not who do you want to become. Who are you becoming? Because every action is shaping your identity. You are training yourself every day. The question is, what you are training yourself to become. Are you training yourself to quit when things become difficult? Are you training yourself to avoid responsibility? Are you training yourself to seek comfort? Or are you training yourself to endure, to focus, to follow through, to remain disciplined regardless of circumstances? The answer is found in your daily habits. Nothing reveals character more clearly than repeated behavior. Your habits are mirrors. They show you exactly who you are becoming. And if you do not like what you see, that is not a reason for discouragement. It is a reason for action. Because habits can be changed. Patterns can be changed. Identity can be changed. That is one of the most powerful truths you will ever learn. You are not trapped. You are not fixed. You are not condemned to remain the same person forever. You can evolve. You can grow. You can become stronger. You can become wiser. You can become more disciplined, but only if you are willing to do what growth requires. Growth requires honesty. Growth requires effort. Growth requires consistency. Growth requires patience. And above all, growth requires responsibility. The moment you stop blaming and start building, everything begins to shift. The moment you stop complaining and start acting, everything begins to shift. The moment you stop focusing on what you cannot control and start focusing on what you can control, everything begins to shift. That is the heart of Stoicism. Not controlling the world, controlling yourself. Because the world will always be unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Unexpected problems will appear. Difficult seasons will arrive. You cannot prevent that. But you can decide who you become during those moments. You can decide how you respond. You can decide whether adversity makes you weaker or stronger. That choice always remains yours. And that choice determines the quality of your life. The strongest people are not those who never face hardship. They are those who refuse to be broken by it. The calmest people are not those who never face chaos. They are those who learn to remain steady within it. The most disciplined people are not those who never feel temptation. They are those who act according to principle rather than impulse. That is what self-mastery means. It means your values become stronger than your moods. Your purpose becomes stronger than your distractions. Your commitment becomes stronger than your excuses. Imagine what your life would look like if you reached that point.
Imagine waking up every morning with clarity, knowing exactly what matters, knowing exactly what needs to be done, and then doing it, not because you feel motivated, because it is who you are.
That is the ultimate goal. To make discipline part of your identity. To make consistency part of your identity. To make self-control part of your identity. Because when discipline becomes identity, everything changes. You no longer fight the same battles. You no longer negotiate with every decision. You no longer waste energy arguing with yourself. You simply act. You become reliable, dependable, focused, strong. The person who once struggled to stay committed becomes the person others admire for commitment. The person who once battled distraction becomes the person known for focus. The person who once felt controlled by emotions becomes the person who remains calm under pressure. Not because life became easier, because you became stronger, and strength changes everything. A strong mind sees opportunities where others see obstacles. A strong mind remains patient when results are delayed. A strong mind stays focused while others become distracted. A strong mind continues while others quit. This is why building mental strength is one of the greatest investments you can ever make. Because every area of your life benefits from it. Your work improves. Your relationships improve. Your confidence improves. Your health improves. Your future improves. Everything improves when you improve. That is why focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. The better you become, the more value you bring to the world. The more disciplined you become, the more capable you become, the more resilient you become, the more useful you become. Personal growth is not about becoming obsessed with yourself. It is about becoming responsible for yourself. And responsibility, freedom. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from laziness. Freedom from dependency. Freedom from regret. Imagine reaching the end of your life, knowing you gave everything you had. Knowing you did not waste your potential. Knowing you did not spend decades hiding inside comfort. Knowing you faced challenges. knowing you embraced growth, knowing you became the person you were capable of becoming. That is a life worth living, not a perfect life, a meaningful one, a life built on effort, a life built on discipline, a life built on character. Most people will never reach that point, not because they cannot, because they refuse to pay the price. They choose comfort again and again until comfort becomes a prison. Do not let that happen to you. Do not trade your future for temporary ease. Do not trade your potential for short-term pleasure. Do not trade your purpose for distraction. You were capable of more than that. Far more. There is greatness inside you that will never appear unless you demand it from yourself. There is strength inside you that will never appear unless you challenge yourself. There is discipline inside you that will never appear unless you practice it. You must bring those qualities into existence. No one can do it for you. No one can hand you self-respect. No one can hand you resilience. No one can hand you character. Those things must be earned. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined day at a time. And when you continue long enough, something remarkable happens. You become unrecognizable, not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The person who once doubted themselves becomes confident. The person who once avoided discomfort begins seeking growth. The person who once lacked discipline becomes disciplined. The person who once felt powerless becomes powerful. Not because they changed overnight, because they change daily. That is how transformation happens. Quietly, gradually, relentlessly, until one day the results become impossible to ignore. And when that day arrives, people may ask what changed. They may ask how you became so focused, so disciplined, so resilient, so calm, so confident. They may look for a secret, but there is no secret. The answer is simple. You mastered yourself. You controlled your thoughts instead of letting your thoughts control you. You controlled your emotions instead of letting your emotions control you. You controlled your habits instead of letting your habits control you. You controlled your life instead of allowing circumstances to control it. That is the power of Stoicism. That is the power of discipline. That is the power of self-mastery. So, from this moment forward, stop waiting. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for permission. The time is now. The opportunity is now. The responsibility is now. Take control of your thoughts. Take control of your emotions. Take control of your habits. Take control of your actions. Take control of your life. Because every day you delay is a day that can never be recovered. Every hour matters. Every choice matters. Every action matters. Your future is watching. The person you could become is waiting. Do not disappoint them. Stand up. Focus. Commit. Move. Begin today. And never stop becoming.